Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today we have 3 great stories, so I'm hoping for your likes, and let's get started. Our first story. People who love reading actually do exist. I just found this community. My story happened nearly a decade ago, and it isn't extraordinary, but it was very satisfying. Exact wording is a little iffy thanks to a poor memory, but it's a close approximation. Around this time in my life, I worked retail. I was regularly mistaken for an employee of various stores, even if I wasn't in clothing that even remotely resembles a store uniform. I must have had a customer service aura or something. I don't know, my friend too. It's also not uncommon for customers to knowingly ask other customers for assistance in the area I live in. It's an I know you don't work here, but I was hoping you could help me kind of thing. So a friend and I were at a mall browsing a small bookstore. We both loved reading all kinds of stuff, fantasy and science fiction, actual science, history, comics, travel, hobbies, even the occasional trashy romance novel. You name it, and one of us had probably read a book that falls under the category. I mean, we both just loved reading pretty much anything. We were also both very familiar with our local bookstores in general. Browsing at bookstores was one of our favorite pastimes. We'd been in the store for about 30 minutes or so, moving from section to section and talking in low voices about various books, authors, and series with enthusiasm and excitement. We were also discussing which ones we wanted to buy and had baskets with us. We were pulling books off shelves, reading the back, flipping through the first few pages, and reshelving the books we didn't decide to buy. It's important to note that both of us were dressed extremely casual. She had on a very low-cut shirt, and I was in jeans and a tank top that showed a bit of cleavage. Definitely not the professional attire that the bookstore employees wore. We just reached the comic section when this lady came up to us and interrupted our conversation with a question about a specific book. The only employee apparent in the store was in the process of ringing up several customers. I asked her what the book was about. After she told me, I said what section it would probably be in and pointed the section out. Then I turned back to my friend and resumed our conversation. Well, this lady didn't like my response and was not having it. She interrupted us again and asked why I wasn't looking the book up on a computer and escorting her to its exact spot on the shelf. I said, "Sorry, ma'am, I don't actually work here. I'm just another customer who happens to love books. I'd still take you to it, but I've never heard of the book you're asking about. What I told you before is the best I can help." I then turned back to my friend and resumed the conversation. Suddenly, this lady grabbed my wrist. I turned towards her in total shock and outrage, and my friend is giving her a murderous "WTF do you think you're doing, crazy lady" kind of look. My friend had gone from kneeling near the bottom shelves to standing in an instant. I calmly looked down at her hand and then looked her in the eye as I gently but firmly removed her hand from my wrist. Then I stepped back out of arm's reach. Lady: "I know you work here." Me: "How dare you touch me like that? I think that the way we're dressed would make it obvious we don't work here." Lady: "I've been in here for 15 minutes and you two have been moving from section to section while talking about books. You work here." Me: "No, I don't." Lady: "Yes, you do. I saw you putting books back." My friend, who's much less polite than I am, says, "You saw us doing all that because we love to read and we were looking at books, you effing idiot." It's possible that her response had several more F-bombs. At that time, F was my friend's favorite word, and she sometimes used it every other word. I enjoy the word myself, but customer service was so ingrained in me that I most likely stuck to purely polite language. Her, offended and outraged: "I'm going to report you to your manager." Me, smiling and laughing a little: "Okay, you do that." Lady, while looking me in the eye: "I mean it." My friend, also laughing: "Go ahead." I turned and exchanged a glance with my friend before we both turned back to watch her. The actual bookstore employee was less than 10 feet away and well within hearing range. My friend and I were eagerly awaiting her complaint. When she got to the actual employee, we were thrilled to hear her recounting the tale of how rude we were to her and how we should be fired. The employee looked confused, then looked where the lady was pointing. The lady looked over at us. I smiled and waved. My friend laughed. "No, ma'am, they don't work here." Lady: "But they've been moving from section to section and talking about books." Employee: "I'm sorry for the confusion, ma'am, but they don't work here. All employees of our bookstore wear a badge like this." She showed her badge. Lady: But, they were talking about books and they were excited." Employee: "They don't work here, ma'am." The lady turned towards us looking extremely confused, embarrassed, and deflated. But I was laughing pretty hard and making no attempt to hide it, but I did wave at her again. Employee: what was the name of the book you were looking for, ma'am? I can help you find it. The lady bought a single book. Between my friend and I, we bought around 20 or so books. I'd worked a book allowance into my monthly budget. The lady was gone when we checked out, and the employee apologized to us for the inconvenience. I told her it really wasn't her fault and that some people are idiots, and we all kind of chuckled about how ridiculous she'd been. To this day, I can't get over how impossible she found it that someone who didn't work in a bookstore might know about books and be excited about them. I mean, I might love reading and read from a broad range of categories, but I've never considered myself as falling into hardcore territory. Sadly, I do live in the southern United States, so them readers is also a phrase that I'm familiar with. She just didn't look like the kind of people that I'd heard it from. Guess you really can't judge a book by its cover. Woman threatens to have me fired from a store I don't work at. Well, it finally happened to me, and I'm apologizing now because I'm a mobile user. You know the drill. For some context, I work at a pretty popular grocery store in the Midwest that's based out of Iowa. Now, when I say popular, I mean popular. The town I live in voted this grocery store as the best grocery store in the county for 3 years in a row, and this store opened in 2015. My uniform consists of a red polo with the company name embroidered in white, black dress pants, and black shoes. Now to the story. This happened last night. I'd just gotten off work, was still in my work uniform, and on my way home when I realized I forgot to get groceries after I clocked out. Instead of turning around to go back to the store, I decided to go by Walmart since it was on the way back from my apartment and I only needed 2 things. I go into Walmart, pretty tired from my 9-hour shift. I work in the floral department, and since it's homecoming season, I spent my entire shift wrapping flowers and making corsages and all that fun stuff. It was very busy that day. I go looking for some bread to make French toast in the morning, and I'm standing in front of the bakery looking for the right type of bread for a few minutes when I feel a tap on my shoulder and someone sighing heavily. When I turned around, I saw her. Karen. She had the haircut, the makeup, the everything. Me. Can I help you? Karen. I've been standing here for minutes waiting for you to help me, and you're just looking at bread. You are terrible at your job. Now help me find the toilet paper. Me. Ma'am, I don't work here. I work at a different store down the road. I'm just a customer. Karen pauses for a second, looks at my shirt before huffing in my direction. You're lying. That store would never have someone like you working for them. Take me to the toilet paper now. Me. At this point, I'm starting to lose my patience. It's been a long day, and I really don't want to deal with her attitude. Ma'am, if I did work here, why would I be wearing the uniform of their #1 competitor in town? Karen. So you can get away with being a lazy piece of crap, but I won't stand for that. I'm getting your manager. Me. Whatever, lady. So Karen storms off with her card, and I carry on with my shopping, grab the bread I needed and a gallon of milk. I'm about to go to the checkout lane when I see Karen barreling towards me, manager in tow. Karen. Her! This is the worker who is being rude to me and isn't doing her job. Fire her! The manager gives me a confused look. Notices my polo that has the company name of the store I work at. Manager. Ma'am, this girl doesn't work here. I've never seen her before. And I know all the workers on my night crew. And it's pretty obvious she doesn't work here considering she has a polo for another grocery store. Karen. You are both liars. This is how you treat your paying customers. I'm never shopping here again. The wild Karen storms off, and the manager apologizes to me for the trouble and ended up giving me my 2 grocery items for free, considering what just happened. The only reason I'm posting this now is because this morning, before I went to my college classes, I stopped by my store to cash a check at customer service, and I told my coworker about the story. The best part about this story? I had a feeling in my gut, and I asked to see the list of banned customers for our store. Guess whose picture was at the top of the list? Karen. Apparently, there were 3 recorded times where she left carts of frozen or cold products in front of the restaurant connected to the store containing hundreds of dollars worth of product for hours. Then she'd just leave the store without paying for it. I'm talking about expensive steaks, crab legs, lobster, large cheesecakes, milk, etc. All of this product had to be thrown away because it was no longer safe for consumption. After the 3rd time of this happening, she was banned from my store. I guess I'm lucky. Even though she knows where I work, she can't legally enter the store. Caveman speak. So in the 90s, I rented a large workshop with 2 friends. I was a woodworker and the other 2 were metal workers, so obviously none of us resembled the previous business, which had installed skylights in any way. Cue the customer of the previous business. C. I have condensed this as the verbatim conversation went on for a very long time. Arriving at my door, a real Karen. C. I need repairs done to the skylights you installed. Me. Sorry, that business has moved. I don't know where they are now. C. No, I need you to send someone over now. The skylights are leaking. Me. As I said, that business is gone. We're a different company. C. No, right now. Repeat the above like half a dozen times. About now, I'm realizing I'm dealing with either a genuine loony or else someone's too entitled to listen to plain common sense. I try another tact, caveman speech. Who knows, it might get through. Me. Skylight business gone. New business come. You talking to new business now. Understand? Ook. C. Me. No skylight here. Try looking effing phone book. You bugger off now. C. Leaves in a big huff. It's all about communication, folks. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.